Okay, so I have returned from a little hiatus I had recently because I was trying to basically re-establish the direction for this. So I heard of this honey scam. I already watched it, but I just wanted to give my own insight into this. So yeah, let's go and get it started.
By now,
Okay.
you've probably heard about Honey. You know, the browser extension that saves you money.
Do
All
you
right.
have Honey installed?
What's honey?
Oh, no.
Honey.
Honey is a free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
That automatically applies coupon codes when you check out online.
Free money, basically.
It's literally free money.
It doesn't make sense to not be using this.
So what's the catch?
There is no catch.
Join Honey. Join Honey. Join Honey.
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 Honey. Honey. Honey.
Honey.
Honey. Honey.
Okay, so whenever something is free, there's always a catch. Like, that's just how it works. A business needs to make money, so yeah. Now, like I said, I already watched this. I already know what's coming. I'm not gonna try to like pretend that it's not pre-watched, but which, let's see, what I'm getting at is I do want to give my insight into it, though. I think I could add some aspect to it. But yeah, so I assumed, like other free things, this would just be like a data brokering situation where they, sell personal data. But yeah, we'll get into that a little later, I guess. Let's continue.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but your favorite influencers sold you a lie. Honey is a scam, and the majority of claims promoted by those influencers aren't even remotely true. But it gets worse. Honey hasn't just been scamming you, the consumer, they've also been stealing money from influencers, including the very ones they paid to promote their product. And I'm not just talking about a few bucks here. I believe this scam has likely cost content creators millions of dollars. Sound crazy? Well, I didn't believe it at first either, until
Also, I would say this would probably cost creators more than just millions, if not hundreds, probably a good amount of tens of millions of dollars, because again, we'll get to that later, but basically with something as big as honey, I'd expect a lot of money to be stolen, essentially.
I experienced it myself firsthand. In fact, I'm confident this might just be the biggest influencer scam of all time, which is insane considering Honey is owned and run by PayPal, who purchased this company for $4 billion. This three-part series is the result of a multi-year investigation where I believe I've uncovered signs of advertising fraud, affiliate fraud, the illegal collection of personal data, deception, lies, coercion, extortion, the list goes on. I've reviewed hundreds of documents, adverts, sponsorships. I've reviewed emails between Honey and merchants, interviewed victims. Believe me, this runs deep. Now, I want to be clear, the views, allegations, and conclusions expressed in this series are my opinions, based on evidence I have gathered, which will be shared throughout. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Honey Trap.
This is also my opinions based off the evidence he has gathered. So, I mean, that is my disclosure as well. So, if anyone wants to try to sue me or anything, I got it from him.
Now I know what you're thinking. It's a free browser extension. How bad could it be? Well, trust me, it's far more sinister than you might think. You know what?
Everything that's free has some, like I said, everything that's free has some catch. Like, it's free, you should know there's some shady things going on behind the scenes by that association alone, really. There's nothing that's ever truly free, but yeah.
What they say, if a product's free, it's likely you're the product. And as you'll find out later in this investigation, That remains true for PayPal Honey. Now, like most people, I too fell for the lies. I mean, what's not to love about a free browser extension that saves you money? It's a compelling product, and with the endorsement from what feels like every single popular influencer on YouTube, it's no wonder millions of people downloaded it. Ironically, the very influencers promoting Honey seemingly had no idea the company was quietly picking money out of their very own pockets. Well, at least one of them realized, but we'll get to that later.
That's another thing is like, he's talking about how these influencers were getting stolen from too. It's like, I don't think they'd take on the ad deal if they knew that they were being affected by it, you know? Like, no one wants to get stolen from, so like, if a company is stealing from you, you're not going to want to encourage the use of that company, you know? So like, I think it's kind of a given that these influencers wouldn't have known, and as you'll see later, because like I said, it's pre-watched, when influencers find out, they drop it, and so far there's at least one. So let's get going with that.
So let me show you how Honey's been stealing money from influencers. So let's say you're watching a video on YouTube. If you're into tech like me, maybe you're watching a Linus Tech Tips video. Linus tells you about this free browser extension that saves you money online. You install it in 2 clicks, and boom, you have Honey. Perfect timing, because it just so happens you're looking to buy a new CPU for your computer. You come across another Linus Tech Tips video, and after watching, you're convinced you should buy the one recommended in his video. So you scroll down and find Linus's affiliate link to that product. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you click an affiliate link and buy something, the influencer who promoted the product earns a commission for referring you to that store. So you add the product to your cart, get to the checkout page, and hello, Honey says they found you 10 coupon codes. Sweet. You click apply discounts and Honey gets to work. But unfortunately, none of the coupon codes worked. Doesn't matter though, because as Honey has promised us for years, that means we know we've got the best deal. So you complete your purchase, you're happy, your new CPU's on the way, Linus is happy, he's getting his commission, everyone's happy, right? Well, let's quickly rewind and see what was happening behind the scenes. You see, after clicking Linus's affiliate link, you'll notice in the URL, there's a tracking tag labeled Short Circuit. That's a reference to one of Linus's YouTube channels. And this tracking tag is how Newegg knows who to pay a commission to. We can also see that this tracking tag has been saved on my browser in the form of a cookie that will expire in 30 days. That way, if we only decide to complete the purchase a few days later, Linus will still be credited the sale. It's kind of like when you're at a department store buying a TV and the salesman who helped you gives you a referral card or...
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. I'm not sure about salesmen at physical stores because I've never really dealt with them. I've just gone to stores, bought what I was looking for, and left. But yeah, just having the 30-day cookie, I honestly think that's a good idea, because it's like, if someone recommends a product and then you check it out, you're not really sure about it yet, but then you later decide to buy it without the influence of another, and we're going to get to that, but without the influence of another sales rep, so to speak, I think that's a good thing, because it's like, they did convince you. Like, it might have taken a little while for you to be like, okay, I'm confident in going through with the purchase, but because of them, you decided to weigh your options. So I guess this would be kind of like if you took the salesman's referral card and held on to it, and then returned later, bought the product, and then gave the cashier the referral card. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure if they do this in real life. Like, I'm not sure if, like, oh, you walked out, so therefore you can't have it, or if there's like a date. I've never really had to deal with salesmen before. but it kind of reminds me of that idea. So yeah, I'm going to continue now.
Or a receipt with their name on it, so when you eventually get to the checkout counter, the clerk knows which salesman to award the sale to. You can think of affiliate cookies as a digital version of that. So what happened when we got to the checkout page? Well, once Honey popped up, watch what happened to Linus's affiliate cookie after we clicked apply discounts. You see that? Honey came in, removed Linus's affiliate cookie, and replaced it with their own, claiming credit for the sale and pocketing the commission money for themselves. Yeah.
So yeah, that is, in my opinion, basically theft. Like, and it gets into this obviously, but yeah, I don't think there is really a justifiable way for you to let this happen. And again, it gets into this, but yeah, especially since Honey doesn't really do all that much for the buying experience. But again, I'll just let him speak there.
Now, if we quickly go back again, we can see what's causing this to happen. After clicking apply discounts, what you'll notice is that in the top left corner of your browser, Honey discreetly opens a small new tab, which acts like a simulated referral click, as if they were the ones to refer you to the website, even though you're already on the website and at the checkout page.
Okay, so that is something I didn't really know. The only time I've ever had those little tabs is when there was just too much room because I spammed like 50 different tabs. But yeah, I find that interesting and very sneaky to do. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think if I was like paying attention, I'd be like, oh, what's like going on in the top corner? But clearly most people don't notice that. So I mean, again, I've never used Honey, so I wouldn't really have known about this. Like I said, I think I've said it early in this stream, but I just assumed that they were just participating in regular data brokering like every other free app. So, I mean, either that or the free app has ads. Usually, maybe even both.
Once that page is finished loading and has stuffed PayPal's affiliate cookie, the tab automatically closes, leaving you blissfully unaware that
very
anything
sneaky.
ever happened. It's very sneaky. Now, when I first discovered this was happening, I thought, there's no way. Why would all these high-profile influencers be promoting a company that is actively poaching their affiliate commissions? It didn't make any sense. So to make sure I wasn't going crazy, I went on a Honey testing spree, clicking one affiliate link after another, and it kept happening. But even after all those tests, I scoured the internet to see if anyone was talking about this and found nothing. Okay, there was this one debate about it on the Y Combinator forum, but nothing concrete. Besides that, virtually nobody was talking about this, adding fuel to my doubt. So I figured, screw it, I'll reach out to Honey and ask them directly. And sure enough, they came back to me with the following. If Honey is activated and is the last program used while shopping on a site, it is likely Honey will receive credit for the purchase. I was right, and just like that, my investigation into Honey began. Now, some might consider what PayPal's doing here.
On the whole Honey being upfront with that, yeah. They aren't trying to hide it, and I'm sure there's some legal reasons for that. Like, if they were trying to hide it, I'm sure that would build even a bigger case for a lawsuit. At least on the affiliate side, because like this is affecting affiliate links, at least in this specific case. So I don't think like the consumers in this would really have reason to be part of a class action lawsuit. They're not losing money in this case. It's the affiliates that are affected because their cookies are being replaced. So I think this specific issue, it would only be for affiliate links
dirty or highly unethical, but personally, I can't see how it's anything short of fraud.
I agree.
Just imagine something like this happening in a real world scenario. Let's say you're at a department store looking to buy a new TV. A salesman spends time running you through your options. You decide to buy, he gives you his referral card, you get to the checkout, and right as you're about to pay, a sleazy salesman pops up going, "Hey, shall I check if I have any coupon codes for you?" Naturally, you say sure. He snatches your referral card without you ever noticing, looks for coupons, says sorry, no luck this time, but instead of handing back the original referral card, he hands back his own. PayPal didn't refer the customer to the store, they didn't promote any of the products, the salesman did that. PayPal provided absolutely zero value to the customer, yet they were rewarded for the sale. But because this is all happening,
And yeah, this is the ultimate problem with this. Is like Honey did nothing. PayPal did nothing. So why are they being rewarded for doing something that they didn't do? But yeah, he goes on, so I'll get into that later.
happening online, buried behind clicks and cookies and tracking data, there's little to no transparency that this is ever happening. Okay, but what if Honey had found a working coupon code? Would that make it okay for them to claim the commission? Honestly, no, I don't think so.
Yep, I do not think someone who contributes that little to a sale should be rewarded for that contribution, at least in the way they were. I think he explains later how Honey is like getting money from these businesses through like deals and licenses and things like that. That could be their money making scheme, or well, that could have been their sole money making scheme, and that would have been good enough. But yeah, that didn't happen.
The fact remains that Honey didn't refer the customer to the store, nor did they promote the product. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm a consumer myself. Saving money matters, especially when money's tight. But this scam doesn't just affect wealthy influencers. There are hundreds of thousands of small creators, bloggers, artists who rely on affiliate commissions to support their craft. Sure.
And that's another thing is people should be able to use coupons, but I don't think it should be at the expense of other people. Like, that's not really fair to anyone. But yeah, we'll continue on.
You could argue that Honey may have convinced the consumer to complete the purchase by providing a discount. But let's be real, if you're already at the checkout with your items in your cart, you already have a high intent to purchase. And again, this would never fly in a real life sales environment.
Yeah, like nobody would accept a salesman just standing there trying to get sales. I don't even think, even if the consumers were unaware that they were swapping out commissions, they would accept it. No one wants to be like, oh yeah, we're at the checkout, just randomly, here's some coupons I didn't think of. I think if people were very intent on saving money, I think they would have showed up with a coupon. But like, I don't know, maybe like because like, hey, let's see if we could find the last minute coupon. So I don't know, even if the consumer is not knowledgeable about the situation, maybe. But I think it would be kind of annoying just seeing a guy trying to hand out coupons, or saying he could potentially hand out coupons depending on the product, or even service, or whatever the case may be. Okay.
A department store is going to allow a salesman to hang out at the checkout counter, casually handing out coupon codes while...
This is also unfair to the actual salesman who are providing a service. Well, this guy isn't, so I think you'd also, even if consumer didn't know, you'd also lose trust in your employees as well. So that's another thing to think about.
Simultaneously stealing commissions from the other sales reps. So why are we allowing a corporate giant like PayPal to do it on the internet? Now believe it
Because it's hidden behind cookies and obfuscation. Can I pronounce it like that? But anyways, I've been having some technical things, so I want to check on something real quick. Give me one quick second. Okay, I think we're still good. Let's continue. Oh, maybe. Let's continue.
or not, this first example I just showed you with Linus is just one of 3 scenarios in which Honey poaches affiliate commissions, and the next scenarios are even worse. But before I show you how bad scenario 2 is, it's important you understand the fundamental system Honey is exploiting. You see, in affiliate marketing, there's this thing called last click attribution, which basically means last click wins. For example, you might click on a shoe blogger's affiliate link for a pair of Nikes, but you don't buy right away. Later, you click on a YouTuber's link for the same shoes and complete the purchase. In this scenario, the YouTuber gets the commission and the blogger gets nothing. There are
Yeah, which, I think is fair. It was the last person, the YouTuber, who ultimately convinced you to complete the purchase. Like, I guess you could make the argument that both of them deserve it, but yeah, I think especially the guy who convinces you is probably going to be the one that deserves the most credit, at least. Like, if you're going to split it between them, the first guy, just, it's a competition. You have to get the sale. And the guy who fails to get the sale, I don't think should really be rewarded because they weren't good enough to do it. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation.
other models like First Click, where the blogger would win the commission, or
which I think First Click is unfair because the blogger the blogger probably put you onto the product, but they didn't convince you of the product. So why should they be rewarded for something that they ultimately didn't get results for? That's just my opinion, at least.
Dynamic Click, where the commission is shared. But
again, and like I said earlier, Dynamic Click is, I guess, somewhat fair to an extent. Like, if you're like doing the work to convince someone, sure, you may make the argument for being rewarded somewhat, but if someone else ultimately convince someone, if you're going to do a dynamic sharing method like that, I think the one who ultimately convinced the person to follow through should get the biggest reward, because ultimately they push you over the finish line. The other guy, even if he was the first to recommend it, he wasn't good enough at conveying himself to push you there. No, that's not to say he didn't compete. He probably tried hard to convince you. He just wasn't a good convincer. And I don't think that would be very constructive for this, even to the guy who put you onto it. Because how is he supposed to react? He's like, well, I'm good enough. Like, don't work on conversational skills or anything. I just need to get them thinking about it. I'll leave the other guy to do the convincing now. You can make the argument, well, make more money with better convincing skills and the like, but I don't know. I think the least reward for the worst quality of work, if you want to put it like that, is fair enough, because he's not being rewarded. He's being like proportionally rewarded. He didn't convince him, so why should he get the full commission? That's just my opinion.
The industry went with last click because while it's not always the fairest, it's the easiest to implement. Therefore,
I think it is actually pretty fair. Like I said earlier, you could make an argument for sharing commissions, especially if the person who didn't ultimately convince you gets paid less. Because like I said, it's like athletes. You're not going to pay worse athletes as much as the best athletes. And that's another thing is, if you pay everyone the same, no one's going to be motivated to be better or to stay better, because they're like, well, I'm just going to get paid the same as this guy who isn't as good. So why should I bother being as good as I know I can be, really? So, like I said, if you're going to do something dynamic like that, I think it's best, like, being proportional.
it became the industry standard. Now, when it's blogger versus YouTuber for a sale, honestly, I'd say last click is usually fair.
I agree. I think last click is fair. Like I said, I think last click is fair in 99% of cases, because the last click is usually the one to push you over the finish line.
When it's anyone versus Honey, there's no real competition. Honey pops up right at the end of your purchasing journey, virtually guaranteeing they'll win that last click. They, of course,
Exactly. Like, they get the last click. There's no way they're not, because when you're at the checkout, you're already intent on buying the product. And I know this is kind of like, it's like, yeah, we know this is what he's been saying, the high intent to buy earlier stated, but it can't really be, in my opinion, overstated. Like, these people are already very intent on buying, so Honey poaching the last click, again, it's not like they did anything to convince the purchase. Like, it's like me going and seeing like a coupon book on the shelf while waiting in line, being like, oh, let me pick that up, cut out a coupon, and then hand it over. It's like, you were already intent on buying the product. All you picking up the coupon book did was give you an unexpected deal, and that's really not much. Like, even with the, oh, we found 10 coupons and it didn't actually have any working coupons, it's like, well, okay, that, I mean, I'm still going to buy the product, you know? Like, I don't really think they have much at all, if any sliver of influence on the purchase of a product. And so yeah, I think what they're doing is very scummy.
know this and do anything they can to get that last click, even when there's no coupon codes to offer. Which brings us to scenario 2. Honey Gold, which is now called PayPal Rewards. Here's how it works. When you get to the checkout and Honey Gold is available, Honey pops up and is essentially saying, hey you, consumer, click this button here so PayPal can claim the commission for the sale, and we'll share a portion of that commission money with you in the form of points.
I mean, This is a little more transparent. I need to have a drink of water. I will be right back.
It's basically a lame cashback scheme. And it's genius because if there are no coupons to offer, but the store is participating in Honey Gold, it gives Honey another reason to get that last click. How can YouTubers, bloggers, or any other type of affiliate fairly compete against this type of mechanism? Of course.
They can't. This should be legal because you can't compete against Honey's system. The best you can do is if you know what's going on and therefore warn people not to use Honey. Delete it off the browser if they have it, stuff like that. But yeah, you just cannot really compete. All you can do is just tell them to be wary of using it.
Of course the consumer's going to click, and of course they're going to win the sale. Now this got me thinking, how much of their commission are they actually sharing with users? Well, to find out, I decided to put Honey Gold to the test. So I looked for any website where Honey Gold was offered and found it on NordVPN. And no, this is not a sneaky sponsorship. So I signed up for NordVPN's affiliate program, which offers 40% commission on successful referrals. After getting approved into the program,
so it was 40%. Let me get that.
It's affiliate program,
Again.
which offers 40.
So 1 year offer, new signups 40. Okay. So this is on the 1 year plan, and then convincing someone to renew would be 30%. That is a lot of money proportional. Like, of course, it's all proportional, like, depending on how much the total is and all that, but yeah, that is a very generous deal.
40% commission on successful referrals. After getting approved into the program, I received a custom affiliate link for my YouTube channel. Using this link, I made 2 separate purchases. For the first, I activated Honey Gold, and sure enough, you can see my affiliate cookie was replaced with Honey's. And for the second, I didn't activate Honey Gold. As expected,
Actually, I want to go back a little, just see how much.
For the first, I activated.
Okay, so $59 for the first year. So yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what they were doing, but like why it was saved, 58% as it says over in the corner of that box. But what they were doing was really good. It was like a really good deal. And I've never used, nor have I ever checked out their pricing really all that much. I don't really know what is like going on, like if it's like some like specific deal, if this is just standard for the first year, what the deal is.
Activated Honey Gold, and sure enough, you can see my affiliate cookie was replaced with Honey's. And for the second, I didn't activate Honey Gold. As expected, I was awarded a $35 commission for the sale where Honey Gold.
Okay, so let's check out the note real quick. Both purchases were made in separate new browser sessions with cookies cleared, okay? VPN to simulate different locales, Netherlands and US for each purchase, ensuring NordVPN's statistics registered each sale from a different country. Okay. I think doing it like this, because different countries have different pricings, because like, you know, some countries are poorer, but the companies want to have good influence, so they'll make the prices cheaper. You know, things like that. All about you know, getting the most people possible. You know, like if you're an American company, like you could charge a good amount of money because America is a fairly well-off nation. Pretty, actually, I wouldn't say the people are always that well off, but they're usually better off than a lot of other nations. Where like, if you were to do like, I don't know, like a country in Southern Asia, those tend to be poorer, maybe even if they're not like poor, so you might want to like drop the prices down a bit. So I don't know if like, I mean, they're using, what is this, Netherlands and US, right? So I don't know if the Netherlands and the United States share similar pricing plans, because both nations are very well off nations. But yeah, like I said, it's not like going to be a one-to-one comparison all the time.
Wasn't activated and received nothing when Honey Gold was activated. For the first time, I experienced Honey poaching my own affiliate commission. So how much of my stolen $35 commission did PayPal sharers cash back with my Honey account, aka the consumer? Brace yourselves, 89 points, which is equivalent to 89 cents USD.
So 1 point, 1 cent, got it.
That's right, Honey poached a $35 commission for doing nothing and rewarded me a grand total of 89 cents.
I don't see that as, okay, let me finish actually.
Thanks, PayPal. You really shouldn't have. No, seriously, you really shouldn't have.
Here's the thing. I don't really agree with him on this point. Like, I don't think it explains further.
Now, on to scenario 3.
Yeah, he doesn't explain any further. Now, I think he's saying that from the perspective of someone who knows the pricing, but like, that's the thing. Consumers, give me 1 second. As I was saying, consumers don't really they don't really care about how much money they're getting with like rewards. You see it with like airlines and things like that, where they aren't very, like airlines, credit card, cashback options, things like that. They're not really rewarded very much because like they don't rely on that money. They don't rely on getting reward points and cash back on purchases. So to them, it's like, oh yeah, 89 cents. Not really anything major. Like, you know, you're not making a living off of savings. So, I mean, that point is moot in my opinion. Like, I get, like, he's, like, to me, he's saying, hey, Honey is taking money, taking a large commission, and not, in whether he means it like this or not, I think it's kind of implied by just the fact that most people aren't going to be getting points like this, like the way he's getting it. But he's like implying that, oh, the consumers aren't getting very much money compared to the commission. It's like they're not the ones running the business or anything. So and they've got Honey. They probably have jobs. There's really no incentive for Honey to give massive portions of their commissions to their customers. So, like, I just think this point is a little overrepresented. I think it's only coming from his perspective, since he's the one getting the money poached. And whether or not he means for it, I think it does imply the customer is getting scammed, despite the customer not really expecting to make money off of it like an affiliate would. But yeah.
Ladies out there, let's say you're looking for a new outfit. Your favorite influencer tries on something that slays, you click on their affiliate link and get to the checkout. But in this scenario, Honey knows it has nothing to offer. No coupon codes, no Honey Gold, yet it still pops up to announce absolutely nothing. Annoying as fuck. Naturally, you click the got it button to get rid of the annoying dancing coin, and whoa, what's that? PayPal takes the sale. Why? Because fuck you, Mary, that's your commission. But wait.
Yeah, that is honestly probably the scammiest thing yet, because it's like they didn't even have a veneer of anything to contribute. They just said there was nothing. We basically didn't even make much of an attempt to search for anything, but we're going to take the commission anyways. It's like, that is particularly scummy right there. Probably particularly fraudulent too.
Wait, there's more. My personal favorite is when Honey has nothing to offer, so pops up offering you to check out with PayPal, even though the option is already available at the checkout page. And of course, if
you could argue that's worse because, yeah, it's like, yeah, they're obviously taking commission for every time their pop-up gets clicked. And seeing as PayPal is already available and owns Honey, yeah, you could see I think you could see the issues with that. That's really bad. It's like, again, there's, it's like get rewarded with PayPal. Okay, maybe if you click on the PayPal link, the consumer gets rewarded versus just clicking on the regular PayPal in the checkout section. Let's see, shop eligible items, earn cash off future purchases. But yeah, them taking commissions off of people just for clicking a PayPal link. They're not even pretending like they even remotely tried. It's just a pop-up. It's just a PayPal pop-up. That's it. Yet they're going to take commissions. Yeah, that is really bad.
You click the checkout button, PayPal poaches the sale. Classy. As I was saying, Honey uses any excuse possible to get that last click from the user. It's absolutely disgusting. I can't even begin to fathom how much money has been lost at the hands of this browser extension. Imagine being the influencers who promoted Honey, telling your audience, who, by the way, are the most likely to use your affiliate links, to download an app that poaches your affiliate sales. It's crazy. Now, to be clear, not every influencer who promoted Honey engages in affiliate marketing. So those...
Yeah, I get if, let's say we got like JonTron, Moist Critical. I'm not sure. Because like, some of these guys aren't tech influencers or anything like that. I don't know, or product influencers at all. So I don't know why they would have affiliates, obviously. But yeah, to the people who do have affiliate links, they are definitely 100% being scammed out of their own money. Like I said, like, I haven't checked recently, but I don't think, just like logically thinking, I don't think JonTron, I'd say Moist Critical, maybe. I don't know I can't think of a particular reason why he would have affiliate links, but I don't know, maybe he does have some, like, I guess like gamer subs, if possibly, stuff like that. I'm not, like gamer, because he's like more gamer influence, where like JonTron, he's just like doing stuff. There's like no real consistency So yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it would make sense for him to have affiliate links. Because he's not like a specific gaming YouTuber. He doesn't really have like a gamer's subs deal, at least to my knowledge. And that would probably be the only thing that most people would have affiliate links to. But yeah. So I don't think this is a serious issue when it comes to certain people. But yeah, with most, especially with the big influencers like Linus Tech Tips, having your affiliate commissions stolen from under you is a big problem.
Those who don't are obviously unaffected. But did any of the influencers who are engaging in affiliate marketing ever catch on to what Honey's been doing? Well, it turns out yes, at least one of them did. Linus Tech Tips, who have been promoting Honey since 2017. So here's how I found this out. You see, one day I was browsing Linus's forum to see if anyone had raised a red flag about Honey. And sure enough, back in 2020, someone sounded the alarm, but it was ultimately ignored.
Now, this could be for several reasons. I don't think it was ignored for malicious reasons. I think it just got caught up in like all the posts and no one really caught on to it. You know, it's not like, oh, Linus Tech Tips is Tech Tips. Linus Tech Tips is deliberately like silencing this person because Honey's a sponsor and they want to get money from Honey and yada yada. I think it's just as possible that just got drowned out in the commotion of the forums.
However, in 2022, a different user noticed that LMG were no longer promoting Honey and asked the team if they had been dropped as a sponsor, to which one of Linus's employees responded with, "We ended the partnership with Honey due to the way their service interacted with affiliate links. Essentially, if someone clicked on an affiliate link and then they use Honey and search for a deal, Honey will override that tracking link even if they don't find you a deal."
Okay, so in this case, I think a major reason why this wasn't so ignored is because you know, it was a direct message to the forum, at least whoever is in charge of the forum, that is.
It didn't jive with us, so we ended the partnership. Okay, so they had no idea this was happening, and it took them several years to catch on. That's quite telling, because we're talking about a tech-savvy YouTube channel that's run by a very large team. The fact that it took them several years to figure this out, in my opinion, really underscores the deceptive nature with which Honey operates.
Okay, so this is another thing, is tech savviness doesn't really mean necessarily tech awareness, you know? Just because you know how things work doesn't mean you're always vigilant for that thing. Like, I've heard of tech YouTubers having scam issues because they just, for whatever reason, were complacent with their daily lives. They didn't, you know, double, triple check email addresses or something like that. And the next thing you know, they download a virus or they download some spyware that hacks their YouTube channel. Even despite being tech YouTubers, things just, when you become complacent in a rhythm, things just get unnoticed. So I could see how even tech YouTubers wouldn't really catch on to this.
If Linus and his team didn't know, I can't imagine many other influencers would have known either. Now, I have to say, as a long-time viewer and supporter of Linus's channel, I'm incredibly disappointed they weren't more public with this discovery. I get this specific issue doesn't directly affect their viewers, but surely they must have realized the wider impact this could be having on the creator community, a community they're a part of. I think that matters. And it's not as though they only promoted Honey once or twice.
Honestly, I'm kind of a little iffy on this. I think while it's true, while there might be some level of disappointment warranted, because like they could have sounded the alarm and all that, I don't think it's their obligation to notify people, at least in a lot of cases. This you may make the argument for, but like anything, and again, I don't know the terms of contract, yada yada. Maybe it was like, hey, don't, if you have, because like if you, it may be like, hey, if you have sponsors on this channel, you cannot badmouth us. This is something you cannot do. Because I've seen some previous Honey endorsers see this video, and yeah, they were kind of like, hey, you have terms in the contract where you have to keep videos up, ads inside of videos, even if the sponsor is dropped. And so I don't know, maybe Honey has it in their contract like, hey, you can't badmouth us publicly. But I don't know. Also, again, I'm kind of iffy. It's like, this is between Linus and Honey, and this isn't really I mean, it's a wider issue, but in their channel, it's not that big of an issue. So, I don't know, maybe they just thought if they ignored it, it wouldn't really be a problem. I don't know, but I'm not just going to be like a catch-all, oh, you had bad experience, so, you know, bring it up immediately. I think there is a decision on privacy in private matters. So yeah, that's just my thing though.
They did approximately 160 sponsored segments, all of which remain live on YouTube. Those videos have accumulated around 194.
Again, those being live on YouTube might not be an accident. Like I said, I've definitely heard that there are terms to when or if sponsored segments can be removed from videos. Maybe, and I'd assume that would also go down with takedowns. Like if they didn't want to edit out the section and just decide to take down the video wholesale, like they might not be able to do that.
4 million views. According to my data, that makes Linus's company LMG the third largest promoter of Honey on YouTube. So yeah, in my opinion, they should have made more noise about this. But what's truly baffling to me,
again, I think I'm kind of split on this. Like I don't think anyone's really obligated to much, if anything, with their platform. I think what they do with it is their decision, you know? But I guess, morally speaking, it would have been the right thing to do. That might be the most, like, impartial way I could look at it. Because I do want to be like, you probably should have raised the alarm bells, but it's their channel, their thing. They're not obligated to, but they probably should have. I think you could make the morality argument for it, possibly.
is that after LMG ended their partnership with Honey, they then went ahead and partnered with a company called Karma Now, a coupon browser extension that literally engages in similar behavior. Now, I did reach out to LMG about this situation.
Also, like, because again, I don't think LMG wants to get scammed out of money. So this tells me that they probably did little to nothing to change their vetting standards. Because if they're doing the same thing as Honey, yet they're still getting the partnership with someone who knows they were scammed by Honey, it's like, that's worrying. I guess, like, what were you going to do to change your vetting process? Were you just going to be like, well, you just have to accept that we're getting scammed because these browser extensions just don't seem to like us? Or, like, what was the thought process? behind that, I wonder.
And I'll be honest, their response was not to my satisfaction. They didn't address the majority of my questions, however, they did at least provide some important context about their dealings with Honey. LMG stated that as soon as these issues with Honey were brought to us, we tried to work with them to remedy them. After a few calls, we were informed that they weren't willing to change, so we stopped working with them across all channels. So let me get this straight. One of Honey's biggest promoters goes to them and says, "Hey, can you please stop overriding our affiliate links?" And Honey effectively goes, "Nah, not happening." Assuming I've got that correct, and if
Yeah, that's actually very telling of Honey, because it's like, these are the people making you money. Now, of course, Honey at this point was ingrained in anyone who watched YouTube who saw ads for it, so they were probably like, well, sure, we'll lose a sponsor or partner, whatever. Yeah, partner, not sponsor. Sure, we'll lose a partner, whatever, but we're already making bags off them anyways. You know, they already got a ton of customers in the door, and this might have been why they didn't raise a bigger alarm to it, is because Honey might have been like, well, you're going to end our partnership, don't badmouth us, or don't badmouth us or we'll sue you, or, you know, probably trying to like extort them. That's a possibility. I'm not going to be like, you know, that goes back to, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you for, you know, possibly, and I say possibly, looking out for your own back, making sure you don't get sued yourself for bad mouthing someone. Because if they did, especially if they didn't have evidence of Honey doing it, like personally, they might, you know, be on the hook for that, for bad mouthing an innocent company. Now, I don't think Honey's innocent, but the point still stands is that at this point in time, Honey is perceived to be a beneficial extension. So if they don't have the paper trail to back it up, like if it's like, oh, some employee examined it one day, brought up the alarm internally, and they just, for whatever reason, screenshot, or the screenshots could be argued to be like photoshopped in the court, you know, if there's not really a strong defense case, they could be held liable for like slander, or however, or defamation, whatever method they go about it. I could see why they didn't really bring it up into the public consciousness when they found out, assuming that they might be worried about getting sued themselves.
true, that just goes to show what little regard Honey has not only for content creators, but also their partners. Now, as for LMG's less than ideal response, I did press Linus's team to address the rest of my questions, but never heard back from them. But it's time to shift gears, because unfortunately, this scam runs much deeper than stolen affiliate commissions. It's time we talk about how Honey used these influencers to sell you a complete lie. How they sold you a product that was doing the opposite of what they promised. You see, as I was testing Honey across different stores, I was encountering a reoccurring issue. When I reached the checkout page, Honey would claim it couldn't find me any coupon codes. Yet when I searched manually, I found working codes with ease. And even when Honey did find me a code, I was often able to find another code of better value. Kind of strange, given their claim that,
Well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is now a thing of the past.
Another oddity was that Honey would often only find me Honey branded coupon codes, such
Okay, so that's another thing. On the consumer side of the lawsuit issue, and that's what I'm saying, for affiliates, they could sue on, you know, stolen affiliate cash. On the side of the consumers, they could sue for false advertising. Could they sue for some sort of, could the consumer side at least sue for some kind of fraud? Maybe, because they're not always giving you coupon codes when they say they will. Give me 1 second. So they're not always giving you coupon codes when there's clearly coupon codes to give. Also, they saying they're finding the best ones when they're really not. So the consumers may come up with false advertising for the whole best coupons, and possibly fraud for not giving you coupons when there are coupons to give. I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me on that, but it is.
Such as Honey 5 or Honey 10. Why would a store only have Honey branded coupon codes? Kind of weird, right? But the biggest red flag was that when I tried submitting the better coupon codes I'd found, Honey wasn't adding them to their database.
Okay, no store would only have Honey branded coupon codes, so it's just like they don't. And not adding database would be very fishy.
So why not? Well, eventually I figured out what was going on. It turns out that one of the key benefits for stores partnering with Honey is that they are given full control over which coupon codes go live on the platform, if any at all. I discovered this while listening to a podcast produced by Honey, which appears to be aimed at attracting new businesses to joining their platform. In this podcast, an employee from the Australian clothing store, Princess Polly, discusses the benefits of partnering with Honey.
What would you say to any brand that is considered working with Honey but hasn't yet?
I would say missing out on converting customers. Like I said before, Gen Z is super discount savvy. You can't ignore the fact that they will hunt for discount codes and they might find a better deal. With Honey, you can also control the discount code percentage, which means they will potentially find a higher discount code on the internet. It literally lets you control the customer journey, convert and control
Okay, yeah, that is extremely fishy. Now, I could see why in this podcast this representative fully admitted that the podcast is meant for possible business partners. It's not meant for the general public, because if the general public hears this, they're like, what do you mean you're not finding me your best coupon codes or coupon codes at all? You're telling Honey, no, don't give them the 20% off, give them the 10, the 5% off. I think general consumers would be mad at that, but as a business oriented podcast, you have to let the cat out of the bag in that case, because you have to make yourself convincing. So if they obfuscated the fact that they don't let the businesses, that they let the businesses decide that that the business has control over the discount codes featured on Honey. If they obfuscated that, then that would make the business have one less reason to work with them. But if they don't, if they just admit it to other businesses, then other businesses will be like, wait a minute, you're telling me I get to decide which coupon codes are featured on Honey? Sign me up. Meanwhile, the general consumer is not meant to see that. Of course, they're going to make it a public podcast. I think, I've never been on Honey's website or anything like that, but I could guarantee you they don't really try to promote that podcast too much. Maybe in a for businesses section, partner with Honey section, something like that. It will be there, but yeah, I can see why they didn't really try to. I can see why they really didn't try to hide that fact in the podcast, because again, it's just not a consumer based podcast. It's meant for the companies.
the discount code percentage as well.
This is insane. She's basically saying Honey is great for businesses because it encourages users not to bother hunting for coupon codes, and it allows businesses to control which coupon codes are shared with consumers. Now, I was able to further verify this on Honey's website, specifically the FAQ page for partners, which clearly states, as a partner, you have control over the content hosted on the Honey platform. So yes, even
Exactly. It's going to be obfuscated enough. This goes with the podcast because the podcast, like I said, is ideally not being watched by consumers. It's ideally being watched by businesses. So they're a little more confident in letting the cat out of the bag. FAQ for partners, again, most consumers are not going to stumble upon the FAQ And they're probably not going to read it in enough detail to notice that who is, though, potential future business partners. So they have to be a little more open so that they could give, the partners better confidence in that.
Even if Honey knows of a coupon code that offers, say, 20% off, but a partnering store tells them, hey, only share a 5% off coupon, then that's the only discount Honey will apply to your cart at the checkout page. I mean, holy shit! Honey wasn't finding you the best deals possible, they were intentionally withholding them from you for their own financial gain. This completely...
Now, I am a little iffy on what he means by this, because Honey does not benefit from the coupon code, and I don't think they benefit from offering... Actually, nah. Maybe, yeah, I think, actually, now that I think about it, they would, because they'd be getting a higher commission on the deal. But because there'd be more money to go around, like a 40% off of, or not 40% off of, but like a 40% commission using the NordVPN thing. A 40% commission on $100 is more than 40% on $50, So they're not going to use the 50% code, they're going to use like the 20% code. Because $80 is more than 50, even though it's less than 100. They're still walking away with some degree of better commission, because they were still able to give you a worse deal, therefore get a higher commission. But I mean, I don't think that would really matter, since if like, oops, no coupon codes, as long as you click the link or the pop-up, they're going to get the commission anyways. And that in my opinion, that kind of hurts the business too, because it's like, again, the business has to be mad. That's another thing. Businesses could sue because they're paying Honey for discounts that they never offered. Like, they didn't even make an attempt. So the business is probably looking at this like, wait, you did a scam affiliate? Like, businesses have to be looking at this like, we were paying you to give coupon codes. Now, we may have been intentionally obfuscating the best ones, but you're taking money from us even when you don't give any value to the customer at all. You're just like, hey, check out with PayPal to get rewards. And it's like, there's no attempt to make a deal there, yet we're still paying you for the deal. You're still treating it like a commission, like an affiliate link, even though it's not. So I think the businesses could even have a stake in this whole downfall.
Invalidates Honey's core value proposition to consumers. For years, they sold you the lie that they would find you every working coupon code on the internet and apply the best one to your cart. But nope, complete and utter lie. They have literally been feeding you coupon codes that were approved by the partnered stores who were paying them. And can I just say, the double messaging here is hilarious. Because on one hand, Honey has appealed to consumers by promising to find the best deals possible. But on the other hand, they appeal to businesses claiming that Honey helps prevent consumers from finding the best deals. It's absurd. Now, when you think about it, this all makes complete sense. I mean, why would any online business pay Honey for sharing their highest value coupon codes with its 20 million users? That's not an appealing...
Exactly, like, that's another thing is, Honey is going to get money regardless of what coupon or lack thereof the consumer is able to use, as long as they click on the Honey extension. And maybe they, like I said, maybe they even have licensing deals. But Honey is incentivized to provide the least valuable deal as possible, because again, they're getting commission. So the commission cuts into the deal, first of all. And on top of that, hires a larger sale means higher commissions as well. So it's kind of like a double. You know, the business wants the lowest coupons as possible. That way, when Honey takes their cut, they're not taking any more. You know, like if their highest deal is 20% off, you know, and Honey offers that 20% off, they'll, you know, on a, again, for simplicity's sake, $100 product, business at that point is only making $80, and then on top of that they have to pay, let's say, a 10% commission on top of that to Honey. So the business would be very much appreciative if they offered only 10% off coupons, even though they're not the best, and that way when Honey gets its cut, then it's like, to the business, the consumer used the 20% off coupon, because then they'll be making the $80 and not having to share that portion with Honey, if that makes sense. I'm gonna get some more water real quick and I will be back.
Partnership whatsoever.
I just wanted to add that, well, from a business standpoint, it does make sense. It's like, I don't like it, just because I'm like, oh, the business obviously does it like this to save money, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still scummy. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit.
So, to make a partnership more attractive, Honey told businesses, hey, if you partner with us and pay us an affiliate commission, we'll let you control which discount codes are shared on our platform. And we'll tell our consumers we scoured the internet and found them the best deal possible. Everybody wins.
This goes into like the fraud and false advertising aspect of it, because they're saying good deals, but they're not that good of deals, you know? So that's assuming they even offer the deals that are applicable, you know? Like, Honey may not even offer coupons that actually are on that site.
Just not the consumers or the influencers. With this discovery, I decided to do a thorough audit of Honey's advertising campaigns. And yikes, the ads, the sponsorships, everywhere you look, it's lie after lie. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up going down as one of the most aggressive, shameless marketing scams of the century. Just look at this insane list of videos that were sponsored by Honey. According to my data, they sponsored almost 5,000 videos across roughly 1,000 different YouTube channels, racking up an unbelievable 7.8 billion views.
Honestly, when I first heard that, I was like, to me, it was like, that's it? Because it didn't feel like it was that, comparatively speaking, relatively so, it didn't feel that localized, because I felt like half the videos I clicked on were Honey sponsorships at one point, so to hear it was 5,000 videos, you know, hearing that was basically, you know, 5,000 videos across 1,000 channels, that's not that many per channel on average, given how big it was, you know. So I was surprised about that.
It's crazy. So now that we have a clearer picture of how Honey operates, let's reflect on some of their claims.
Honey will find every working code on the internet and apply the best one to your cart.
If Honey can't find a discount code for you, then you can rest assured there's not a single discount or promo code on the internet.
It's a free browser extension that automatically finds you the best promo codes for anything you purchase online. You literally
And that's like, what, 5 videos per YouTuber? And Mr. Beast probably did like somewhere in the tens at the very least alone. And I feel like a good amount of YouTubers did multiple, especially big ones, did like a lot of ads. So I was kind of shocked being like only 5,000. Now, again, I'm sure he missed channels that just weren't very big, like at all. Like we're talking about like, oh yeah, this, 10,000 subscriber channel had like 5 ads with Honey that just didn't really go anywhere because the channel just wasn't big enough to sustain a sponsorship like that. But still, it's only like 5 ads per person, or sponsorships ads, whatever you want to use.
don't spend money.
Honey searches the known internet for every promo code ever used. This means you always get the best deals without even trying.
What Honey does is take money and they put it in your pocket.
If there is any way to save money,
I'm sure, like, even within this video, he's shown like 5 of Mr. Beast's Honey ads. Like, I'm sure by the end of this video, you could count at least 5. So it'd be like, oh yeah, an average of 5 per sponsors. Kind of crazy to me.
on your purchase, they'll find it.
Getting you the lowest prices possible at checkout.
You are always going to get the best deal no matter where you're shopping. Amazon, eBay, Best Buy, doesn't matter. Honey's got your butt covered.
If Honey can't find a code, you have the best deal.
It really puts into perspective just how shady this company is, doesn't it? Now, believe it or not, the Better Business Bureau launched an inquiry into Honey's advertising claims. But after Honey immediately discontinued the claims for, quote, business reasons, the BBB decided to drop the case.
This is another thing I don't really like, is the Better Business Bureau, the Better Business Bureau being like, hey, well, if they quit it, we'll stop the investigation. It's like, maybe you could make that argument if they required the fraudulent sponsorships to be taken down. Maybe, but that doesn't change the fact that, that Honey already engaged in false advertising, that people believed the false advertising, and that people signed up believing the false advertising, and probably were still using it under the assumption that the false advertising was true. So even if you could make that argument, I think the investigation shouldn't have been closed based off that.
Honestly, at this point in my investigation, I thought I'd seen the worst of it. I thought I understood the full picture of Honey's shady business model. But here's the thing. What I haven't told you is that there were instances where Honey would actually work really well, finding me incredible discounts that seemed almost too good to be true. Now, it wasn't very often, but enough to confuse me. And there were even times when they weren't poaching affiliate commissions by claiming the credit for sales. These inconsistencies bugged me. It didn't add up with everything else I had discovered. It was clear I was missing something. Well, once I finally figured out what that was, I uncovered an even darker side to PayPal scam, one that targeted an entirely new victim.
We started having problems where customers would get in touch via our support saying, oh hey, I just tried to use this discount, this 60% off coupon, and it doesn't work. I'd be like, dude, that is not your discount, like how did you get that? And they'd be like, oh, it just showed up through the Honey extension.
Yeah, it cost us thousands, and I haven't even looked into how far back it went.
At the end of the day, like, you need to make the numbers work, and if Honey is going to steal 10% of your revenue all the time, you're going to have to raise prices at the end of the day, and it's just like a really awful business model. Like, we've been so mad at them for so long.
So yeah, this is obviously going to be more elaborated on in the next video. But what I'm getting from this little sneak peek is Honey was probably implementing coupon codes behind businesses' back, whether those business relations tarnished and Honey was vengeful or they wanted to take advantage of a small company. I could see where this is headed. And so that's my prediction, is these businesses are getting scammed out of their money because of Honey, because Honey's offering discounts, you know, things like that, that the company never approved for Honey to use. Like it said earlier, the companies have autonomy over which coupon codes get shared with Honey, even if they are consumer coupon codes. So you could see how that could be trouble for Honey, because businesses are like, wait, we thought we were scamming the customers together. We thought we were working together to make sure they didn't get the best coupon codes. But it could also be that Honey's just making up coupon codes, throwing them in there and being like, well, business, you know, we're going to scam you too. We're just going to make up coupon codes. We're going to allow the customers to use the coupon codes, and it's going to eat into your revenue without you knowing. Okay, and that is the end of the video. So if you liked that, please consider following. That I will upload this to YouTube, so you can check it out there. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Tomorrow I plan on doing a video game stream of the original Silent Hill 2. So yeah, look out for that one. And like I said, following would let you know when I go live, so that's cool. So yeah, I think I'll end it right there. Goodbye.